You don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. C.S. Lewis. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked around at the world, the noise, the rules, the chaos, and felt like this just isn't home? Like you're not really from here? You're not alone. And that feeling? It might be your biggest clue, because not every soul that enters this realm is meant to return. Some souls come here once, on a mission, on assignment, and when it's done, they leave, for good. They don't get caught in the cycle of reincarnation. They don't loop through lifetime after lifetime, repeating old patterns. They break the code and exit. And you might be one of them. But to understand how that works, you have to go way deeper than what most people believe about souls, life, or even death. See, most traditions teach that after death, your soul returns, that it reviews your life, learns lessons, re-enters the game with new circumstances, a new identity, a new storyline, over and over, karma in, karma out. But that's only part of the story, because ancient knowledge, the kind kept out of modern textbooks, hints at something else entirely. Some souls don't come back, because they were never part of the game in the first place. They came from beyond it, from outside the cycle, from beyond time. These are what mystics sometimes call source fragments, pieces of higher intelligence who entered this realm voluntarily, not because they had to, but because they chose to. And their presence here, it disrupts the matrix. You've probably seen signs of this in your own life. You question everything. You feel disconnected from societal norms. You sense that something's off, not just with the world, but with how people blindly accept it. You might even carry deep pain, not from trauma you experienced, but from a kind of homesickness you can't explain. That's because your soul remembers. It remembers what it is, where it came from, and what it came here to do. But here's where it gets tricky. The moment you enter a physical body, you forget. That's part of the deal, part of the veil. Earth is like a training ground, a dense layer of experience where souls forget who they are, so they can remember, by choice. And most never do. They get lost in the loop, distracted by ego, chained by systems designed to keep them asleep. But not all. Some wake up. And when they do, they start noticing things. They feel older than their age. They see through illusions. They recognize truths in ancient texts they've never read before. And their presence alone starts to shift the people around them. They don't need validation. They don't crave status. They crave truth. These are the souls that don't return. Because their mission isn't to stay in the loop, it's to break it. And sometimes, their awakening is painful, because they remember just enough to feel different, but not enough to feel whole. They walk through life like observers, never quite fitting in, always searching for something they can't name. But here's the gift. That searching, that ache, it's the trailhead. It's the path back to what you are. And once you start walking it, really walking it, everything changes. Because when a soul starts to remember its origin, it begins to unlock codes buried deep inside. Not intellectual codes, cellular ones, energetic ones. And suddenly, you stop reacting like everyone else. You stop believing the old stories. You stop running the old programs. You shift. And that shift, it's what marks you. It's what makes you different. Not special, not superior, just different. A different kind of soul with a different kind of path. And if any of this is resonating with you, there's a reason. This message didn't find you by accident. You clicked on this video because some part of you already knows. So take a breath, take this in, and if you're ready to explore what your soul might already remember, subscribe now. Let's go deeper. So let's talk about why some souls choose not to return. Not because they're done with life, but because they've outgrown this version of it. You see, reincarnation isn't a punishment. It's not even a reward. It's a classroom. And like any class, once you've passed the final exam, you don't have to retake it. But most souls, they get stuck in the loop, not because they're bad, not because they failed, because they didn't remember. The whole game down here in this physical, messy, beautiful, chaotic world is forgetting and remembering. You forget your origin, your power, your truth. And if you wake up inside the dream and remember who you are, not the name, the job, the personality, but the essence, that's when the matrix loses its grip. Now here's the catch. The system doesn't like that. It's designed to keep you busy, distracted, invested in everything but yourself. Politics, entertainment, drama, chasing money, chasing perfection, chasing love from places that don't even love themselves. Because the more distracted you are, the less you remember. And when you forget, you repeat. But when you start to notice the loop, that moment right there, that's spiritual maturity. And some souls, they don't need 50 lifetimes to get there, because they came in already carrying wisdom. Wisdom that doesn't come from books. It doesn't come from religion. It's encoded. And when that encoding activates, usually through pain, loss, or isolation, something powerful begins to shift. The soul stops asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and starts asking, "What is this showing me?" Massive difference. Because that question doesn't come from the victim inside you. It comes from the witness, the observer, the one who came here to serve, to awaken, to activate something bigger than just a life of survival. These souls, the ones who break the loop, they move differently. They're not impressed by status. They're not addicted to attention. They find magic in silence. They feel home in solitude. Not because they're antisocial, but because they know who they are when the noise fades. And more importantly, they don't just awaken for themselves. They ripple. They remind others. They hold space. Their energy, even in silence, becomes a permission slip for others to begin their own remembering. And that's why they came. Not to save the world, not to preach, but to be the mirror that reflects a deeper truth. And once their part in this timeline is complete, they leave, not in fear, not in regret, but in full awareness, like finishing a mission, like stepping out of the simulation and saying, "All right, I've done what I came here to do." But here's the part that might surprise you. Sometimes these souls don't leave physically. They leave energetically. They stay in the body, but they're no longer bound by the rules. They live beyond time, beyond karma, beyond identity. You've probably met someone like this. Someone who seems light, even when life is heavy. Who radiates peace, even in chaos. Who sees through everything, yet still moves with compassion. That's not a personality trait. That's soul mastery. And yes, it's rare, but not impossible. And no, you don't earn it like a trophy. You remember it, because it was always inside you, waiting. And sometimes, all it takes is hearing this message to start remembering. Now let's go deeper into what it means to be a soul that doesn't return. Because maybe you're thinking, okay, if I am one of those souls, what now? Here's the truth most people avoid. Remembering who you are doesn't mean your life gets easier. It means your life gets clearer. You start to see the false layers for what they are. You notice the unconscious patterns, not just in yourself, but in others. You recognize how much of the world runs on autopilot. It's like waking up in the middle of a dream and realizing everyone's still asleep. And I'm not supposed to shake them. I'm supposed to be present while they stir on their own. Because awakening isn't about proving anything. It's about embodying what you've remembered. That might mean walking away from things that drain your energy, letting go of roles you played just to fit in, saying no more often, creating more space, and most of all, living in integrity with what you know to be real. Not because someone told you, but because your soul feels it. And yes, you'll still make mistakes. You'll still feel lost some days. You'll still question everything. But now, the questioning doesn't make you weaker. It makes you wiser. You're not seeking answers for the ego. You're tuning into deeper frequencies, ones that most people aren't even aware of. And slowly, you stop looking for permission. You stop chasing signs. You become the sign. You're not reacting to the world anymore. You're responding from a centered, rooted, timeless place. That's when you know the soul is in the driver's seat, and that's also when something beautiful starts to happen. You stop needing to be seen, because you start seeing yourself, fully, clearly, without the mask. And when you see yourself clearly, you begin to see others clearly too. Not just their personality, not just their pain, but their essence. And you hold space for that. You speak to the soul, not the mask. And even without saying a word, you help people remember. That's what non-returning souls do. They live as reminders, as quiet disruptors, as frequency holders, as proof that another way is not just possible, it's already here. Now, one last thing. You don't have to do anything dramatic to be this version of yourself. You don't have to live in the forest, wear robes, or give up your phone. You just have to be honest with yourself, with your energy, with how you show up. Because if your soul chose this life with the knowing that you might not come back, then maybe, just maybe, this is the lifetime you're meant to remember and complete the mission. So, ask yourself, what if this is your final round in the loop? What would you do differently? What would you let go of? And what would you finally allow yourself to become? Now I want to hear from you. Do you feel like you're one of the souls that won't return? What signs have you seen in your own life? Drop your truth in the comments. You never know who you'll help wake up just by sharing.